Hey, what's going on, my ninja? Shinobi here, and today I have a video for you talking about some bad news, some good news, and maybe some solutions. And we're talking about Diablo 3, obviously. Usually that's pretty much the topic whenever we're talking about bad news, good news, and solutions. Well, usually lack thereof solutions. But we're going to have a little bit of a discussion in the comments down below, and also you listening to me. And I found this thing on the internet on DiabloFans.com, and I've been looking for some updates for some new things coming out. You know, before patch 1.0.8, they talked about the itemization patch, and then 1.0.8 came out, and there was no itemization. So we're like, where is it? So apparently it's called the Loot Patch 2.0. So essentially it's supposed to be some patch that revamps all the items in the game, and it makes items when they actually drop. It's actually exciting. You actually get something that's good. However they're going to do it. They've actually, you can see in this interview here with Josh, he is the new head game director for Diablo 3, if you didn't know that. And he actually says here that the itemization patch or loot patch 2.0 will release after BlizzCon. Blizzard does not want to publish small chunks of the update, but instead intend to do a full overhaul. So the good news is that it's going to be just one big patch, and instead of a bunch of little stupid ones. The bad news is that it's not going to be till after BlizzCon, and if you know when BlizzCon is, that's quite a ways from now. That's the end of the year. Most likely this patch will come out in late November, December, something like that, which in my opinion is just ludicrous. It's completely ridiculous. I mean, people are looking for something that's going to grab them and pull them back into Diablo 3. The reason why, and I don't know if Blizzard actually knows this, the reason why Diablo players get so upset at these things like this is because we love this game. I mean, face it, you love this game. You want to see this game succeed. That's why you get so upset. That's why I get upset. I've been playing since day one. I've played non-stop since day one. I've done everything in the game that you can think of. Literally, that's what I've done. And when I look at something like this, I get upset at Blizzard because it's like they're holding something special from us. It seems like every time Blizzard has to do something, it takes them way longer to do it. I mean, we waited for Diablo 3 for years and years and years when it should have come out a long time ago, because they were working on it a long time ago, and then they pushed it off, and they came back, and they pushed it off, and came back, and then it comes out, and it was very fun. And I mean, to be honest, I mean, Diablo 3 is a very fun game. There's so many great things about it that a lot of people, I think, take for granted. A lot of people just go, "Oh, Diablo 3, that game sucks." Like, really, it sucks. Why did you play it for 1,000 hours? Why did you do this and that? Like, why did you stop playing it? And like, well, stop playing it because I couldn't find any better items. I'm like, okay, well, you have really, really good items. I mean, why should you be able to find better items than that? You already have the best items. I mean, yeah, sure, there are better items that are slightly better, like getting, instead of a trifecta that's, maybe like 8, 45, 10, you want one that's perfect. I get that. But at the same time, that's very, very, very unlikely that's going to happen, just by the way the loot system works, the way that the role system works. But I understand why people get upset, because I feel the same way. I really do. And I want this to be a discussion, like I said. Down below, I'm going to talk about a couple more things on here too, but down below I want you to tell me what you think should be done to this game. What should be done to make this game better? I mean better right now. And I want you to be very specific about it. And when I say that word, I can't stress that word enough. I don't want you to make a comment going something like, "Make PvP better." Like, okay, how are they going to make it better? Anybody can say, "Make Diablo 3 good," or something like that, which just sounds completely idiotic to even say something like that. How about you just tell me, how would you make it better? That's what I want to know. I mean, I know you're not a game designer, and I'm not a game designer either, but if we're going to give Blizzard our criticism, let's at least sound intelligent about it. Let's at least sound like we know what we're talking about. So then they take our advice and they actually use it. So let's do that. And I'm going to send this video off to Blizzard, and hopefully we'll get a response, and hopefully they'll get these things done before BlizzCon, and hopefully we'll be able to have the game that we've always wanted. I mean, in the beginning, Diablo 3 was very fun. And then after a while, with the saturation of items in the game, we know that eventually it's going to get ridiculous. And see the next thing here, it says, all legendary items should have unique properties. Some examples include a set bonus that makes Call of the Ancients, which is an ability that nobody uses, last forever. Oh boy. And a treasure goblin that follows the character. Ooh, picking up gray and white items. Oh, well thanks, because I really need those gray and white items. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, come on. Then we have items could become upgradable, making them also non-tradable. Okay, you're getting somewhere there. So essentially what I think is going to happen is when they upgrade items, what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, you can increase the stats on this item by modifying the stats this way and this way and this way. But if you do that, it becomes bind on account and you can't trade it on the auction house, which I think is a really good way on actually, you know, making it so the auction house isn't so flooded with items. And that's a start, and I think that's some of the good news that's on here. I mean, I kind of like that. And what do you guys think? Do you think that's really good news? Do you think it's not going to fix everything? Obviously, I think they need to reset the auction house. I need that they need to change the way that the auction house functions. You know, maybe only allow people to post one item at a time or something, or I don't know. Like, in my opinion, I don't know. I don't have all the answers, and you don't have all the answers, and neither does Blizzard. But I think collectively, if we all work together, we can make this game the best game that it can possibly be. And don't get me wrong, I mean, you don't pay a monthly fee for this game. The game cost $60 in the beginning. I definitely got my money's worth. Everything else is just bonus. I know many people out there got their money's worth. It's a very fun game, very exciting, and it has so much good, you know, characteristics to the game that a lot of people just overlook. Let's see, another thing here, the 2 billion gold auction house cap might get raised, but it's a fairly complex thing to do. So I think it's complex because they don't want more gold to be in the game, more gold passing through the game or something like that. And also, if they do that, less people are going to use the real money auction house, because when you go to sell something that is ridiculously good, like a 6% crit mempo, and you go to sell it on the gold auction house, the most you're going to get for is 2 billion gold, and it's worth more than that. So they sell it on the real money auction house. So they know if they were to increase the cap on the gold auction house, people would sell less things on the real money auction house, thus Blizzard making less money. So that's all about them just making money right there, in my opinion, which they obviously have to make money, and I think people don't understand that the auction house is good for the game. It's not something that is necessary for the game, but I think it's something that's good for the game, because a lot of people have asked me, they said, do you think it's better to be self-found or better to have the auction house, or whatever the case may be? And this is the best way that I can explain my opinion on it. Okay, in Diablo 2, there was no auction house. There wasn't an auction house. But how did you get items? You traded, you found them, you used third-party websites, or you bought them on eBay. Plain and simple. I mean, I didn't buy any items off eBay. So what exactly did you do to get items? I mean, when you found an item, for instance, I found this character's item, and it's not my character. I can't use that class item. So what am I going to do with it? Well, I'm going to trade it to somebody else for an item that I need. So I'll go make a game. I have this item, looking for this item. Oh, someone joined my game. Thank you for the item. Thank you for the item. That was how it worked in Diablo 2. Now, how do you get items in Diablo 3? Oh, I found this item that is not for my class. It's for a different class. Okay, go to the auction house, put it on the auction house, it sells for gold, then you purchase the item that you want to buy. It's the exact same thing. It's just more convenient. That's it. And also, websites like D2JSP and like eBay, these websites like this, those were websites that people used before the auction house, which to them was essentially the auction house. It was essentially an item, a place to get items conveniently, that they didn't have to make trades or wait for people that needed a specific item. It was easier to get rid of those items. That's the auction house. It's the same thing. It's something that's been in the game since the beginning. I mean, it has a new face. That's all. I mean, you wouldn't get mad at people for using the auction house in World of Warcraft. I mean, why don't you go out there and farm those BOE epics that have a ridiculously low chance to drop in World of Warcraft? I mean, come on, you want to be a pro, right? You got to farm it yourself. Come on, really? Nobody does that in World of Warcraft. Nobody goes, I'm gonna farm these mobs for like 40 hours until I find a legendary or an epic, which is equivalent to like a legendary in this game. Nobody does that. And I know they're two completely different games, but they both have an auction house, and they both depend on items put on that auction house. You can be the type of person that farms for items and sells them, or you can be the type of person that just buys items at the auction house, or you can be both. It's the same way in World of Warcraft. You can farm for cloth, sell it on the auction house, or you can buy it off the auction house and do both. It's just the way that it works. And when you have a currency like gold in the game, what else are you going to do with gold? I mean, yeah, you can craft items in the game, you can do a bunch of stuff like that, which are great, and I think they should come up with a lot more of that stuff, but I'm curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know that. Now, the next thing here is least used class skills are what gets the most attention with balancing classes. Developers want to bring more build diversity and constantly strive for it. So I think that's a good idea. I think that there should be more build diversity, just like they pretty much said. I think that every class should have a spec that is just farmable and MP10. There's very few classes that can just farm an MP10 with ease, like Barbarian. They can just use Whirlwind and it's super easy. But then you have like classes like the Demon Hunter, where I farm MP10 pretty easy, but not near as efficiently as a Barbarian, because my specs are not, as crazy AoE efficient like theirs are. And, then it forces Demon Hunters to use things like, things are great, like Elemental Arrow was great, because it was really good for AoEing and killing things, and Multi-Shot was great. But the problem is that those abilities are not good on MP10. They're just not. So they have to go to lower MP levels, which means we have to get less Magic Find, which means we get less legendaries, which means it's not fair. Everybody should be equal, and I think that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to get everybody equal as far as the way that goes. In my opinion, what could they do? They could combine Rapid Fire and Multi-Shot and call it like Rapid Shot or Multi-Fire, and what it would be like a spraying multi-shot that uses like rapid fire, kind of like really high velocity. You run into a big pack of mobs, just spray, kill everything. Run into a pack of mobs, spray, kill everything. That would be cool. I mean, I just thought of that off the top of my head, and I'm not even a game designer. You guys should be 10 steps ahead of me. So maybe they are. But, we only know so much, and a lot of people, they like to assume that Blizzard's just sitting at their headquarters, just twiddling their thumbs and not doing anything. They're working very hard to making this game very successful. It's going to take time, and they have to be very cautious on the moves that they make. Next thing here, some elite packs are harder than bosses, because the latter are more the celebration element in the storyline. With that said, the experience from developing the bosses on our PC and later on console versions has taught the development team a lot about new bosses that will make the game much more better. Pretty much what they said there. I just paraphrased or whatever. So, do I agree with that? I think bosses should be harder, but I've learned in the past they actually talked about having specific items drop off of bosses, and maybe that's why they're making these bosses harder, because they want you to do these bosses, and that's what some of the rewards are going to be. Like, if the bosses are harder to kill than the elites, then why would we want to farm the bosses? You got to give us some incentive here. So the incentive I think they're going to do is they're going to have items that just drop off of just the bosses, which is pretty much going to last for not for very long until everybody has those items, which probably wouldn't take for very long, just like those, Archon and craftable Archon and eye level 63 stuff. Oh yeah, that was great for the first day. I made millions of gold off of selling the recipes and stuff like that. But then 2 days later, the recipes are worth 3,000 gold. I mean, it was ridiculous. And it's the same way. It's gonna be the same thing there too. And plus, we shouldn't have to farm just bosses. Get 5 stacks, go kill Asmodan. Get 5 stacks, go kill Butcher. Wow, that's action packed. No. I think what they did with the mob density, with getting people going out into the world and actually fighting stuff and actually, exploring a little bit more, that was a step in the right direction. Making bosses harder so that we farm them more often, I don't think that's something that we should have to do. Make them harder, I agree, but be careful there on what you do in that situation. Next thing here is the PC version of Diablo 3 might get updated with some console features. Now the reason they're doing this is a lot of people complained, including myself. If you look on here on Diablo 3 and you go down to the console pre-order bonuses and exclusives, and you go down here and you see wearable level 1, the Infernal Helm. This is something you get for pre-ordering the game, and exclusive here. 25% bonus experience helm. Oh, I would have loved to have that on the opening day of Diablo 3. It would have taken me quite a it would have been a lot faster for me to level, from 1 to 60 if I had something like this. I get it that, some PC players are going to play the console versions, and, so these people should be rewarded for buying both copies, the PC version and the other version. But I think that players that have bought the PC version are the only people that should get these special types of items. People that are just picking up Diablo 3 for the first time should not get perks that we don't already get. That's not fair. That just makes sense. You have the angelic wings here. That makes sense. That's good. We have here the hero's journey, which is a movement speed increased shoulder pad. Wow, that would be useful. Level a lot faster. Then you have Lyric's gauntlets, which has a chance to spawn a minion, which I take it probably does a decent amount of damage. And then you have the crimson angelic wings, which is something I would love to get, but unfortunately might not come out on PC, but maybe it will. Maybe that's what they're going to do. But when they first released this, people were mad. There's 275 comments just on this alone, and essentially, yeah, the first comment here, PC version equals open beta with money. Yeah, exactly. It's like that's what a lot of people think, is that like PC is just like the open beta that you had to pay for to get into so they could create this stuff for console users. And I get that they want to branch out and they want to make money on consoles and everything. I'm not upset about that. That's more people watching my videos, and I actually welcome that. But at the same time, work on this game, make this game the best it possibly can be, and then upgrade all this stuff and bring all this stuff out. When they talked about the PS3 and the Xbox 360 version right in the beginning, when this was coming out, my first reaction, other than yay, I'm going to get more views on YouTube, was essentially, why, Blizzard? You have so much to do here. If this isn't perfect yet, then why start working on other projects? So that was kind of my 2 cents about that. But the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions are identical in gameplay mechanics, whatever. The console development didn't start the PC until launch. So they're saying that essentially, the PC version came out and they didn't really have any ideas of doing the console until later on. So later on, when you found out the game was failing on Diablo 3, you thought, what would be a great idea? And someone's like, rank PvP. No. Console version. We can make money off of that. Come on. Really? Come on, let's go. You guys said, when you guys were showing us BlizzCon and you were showing us what Diablo 3 looked like with rank PvP and this and that and arenas and all that kind of stuff, you were tricking us. That's the only way we can think about it. You false advertised. You said you were going to give us something, and then you didn't give it to us. And the only reason that you can't get in trouble for that is because you made some posts right before the game came out saying that PvP would not be released, and you actually warned us before us buying that. I think that's just ridiculous. You shouldn't have even... I don't know. I think they hyped up the game too much, and they didn't deliver. But with that said, do I think there's a lot of great things about this game? There are. But there's some things that need to be fixed in this game. Some ways of making the items better in the game to the point that when you find an item, it's just an amazing experience. I think that you should be rewarded every single day that you play this game and having fun and this and that and everything like that. that's my opinions on the whole topic. I'd like to hear what you guys have to think down there. Be very specific on what you think should fix this game and what exactly we can do about making this a more enjoyable game. Because I personally think myself, um, you know, if things aren't fixed soon, I can't see myself playing it much longer. I mean, to be honest, I've done everything. My characters are really well geared. There's nothing to do other than hope to find a crit mempo and then sell it for real money. That's literally the only reason I play this game, other than, you know, helping you guys out with videos and stuff like that, which I love to do, and I'm going to continue to do that stuff. But I think that Blizzard really needs to get on top of this, because we love Diablo 3. We want it to be successful, and that's why we get so upset about this. So listen to us, Blizzard. Get this done. Let's make this the game that we all want it to be. And then let's get this all behind us, and let's just have fun with this game and have no more complaining about this game and saying, oh, Path of Exile is better, or this or that, or whatever. It's done. Let's fix this. Let's forget about the past, and let's play some Diablo 3. Anyways, I'm Shinobi. Until next time, thanks for watching.